What's going on YouTube? This is GB Akuma here with another deck profile for you. Before I go on, I was going to be posting a local report for you. My friend Marshall, aka DarkWorldMofo, whose link will be in the description, he wanted me to do a local report. I just didn't really feel like it. I went undefeated today with my Ancient deck. It's the same deck I posted. The only difference is I didn't actually have my Ancient Sacred Wyvern today, but I never really needed it. So instead, I'm actually going to be doing a deck profile for a deck I've been really wanting to play lately, and it's sort of my brainchild. The idea I actually technically did get from someone else from my locals, but I built the deck myself, and I kind of put my own little spin on it. I don't know if it's the same image he had, but it is an idea that I thought could be pretty viable. We're going to be profiling Rescue Robot, aka Machina Rabbit today. The deck itself focuses around Rescue Rabbit, Mechanical Chaser, and Sabersaurus. Basically, you use Rescue Rabbit to go into Gear Gigant X to search for your Machina gear frame, or you go into Rescue Rabbit to go into Logia or Dolka to stun your opponent. So it's basically you either plus or you stun your opponent to victory. It's a very interesting deck. It abuses two different engines that seem to actually work decently together. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's going to win a YCS. I'm not going to say it's even going to win a local. I don't know yet. I actually have to take it to locals to find out. But anyway, let's get into the profile and I'll kind of explain things from there. Because it is a rabbit deck, you of course do play 2 Rescue Rabbit. You'd play 3 if you could, but unfortunately you can't. Then you play 3 Mechanical Chaser. It's an 1850 machine monster. It's how you go into Gear Gigant, and usually one of your ideal plays with this is to go Rescue Rabbit, Banish, summon 2 Mechanical Chaser, overlay for Gear Gigant, and search Machina Gear Frame so that next turn you can summon Gear Frame and get access to Machina Fortress, who is another one of your boss monsters. And from there you can just kind of control the duel. The Machina engine pluses fairly quickly, and when they bring out their boss monster, they usually give their opponent a hard time. Now, if you can't go into that, of course, you can go the conventional route and play Sabersaurus. Doing this will give you access to Evolzer Logia and Evolzer Dolka. And like I said, you stun your opponent with them, and you control the game. So this deck has a good tempo to it, at least a tempo you can control. And of course, because you're playing Rabbit, you are playing the Tour Guide engine with 2 Tour Guide, 1 Night Assailant, and 1 Sangan. This gives you access to your rank 3s and allows you to go into Leviair, which is the essential rank 3 for this deck. Though going into Tempo and Zen mains never really hurt. Then you have the Machina engine with 3 Machina gear frame. You can use this card to search out 1 Machina monster from your deck except itself. So you'll grab your Machina Fortress, which is a level 7. It's really easy to summon this guy. The perk about this deck is if you dead draw one of your Mechanical Chasers, you can use it as fodder for Fortress. So this is actually one of the decks where Rabbit, if you draw Rabbit in your vanillas, you're not essentially 2-2 in a tight spot, if that makes sense. So using Fortress, you can definitely set up some plays. You can just use him to abuse the opponent's field, or you can drop 2 and go into number 11 Big Eye to take your opponent's monster permanently. And it doesn't have to be face up, it can be face down either. Basically, as long as it's on the field, you can take it. Of course, because you are playing the Machina, you do have to play 1 Machina Cannon. It's an auto revive for your Fortress. It sucks drawing him without Fortress on the field, but it's a necessary evil. If I were playing Tragodia, this card would be a little bit better, but I'm not really comfortable playing Tragodia without Max C right now, and I don't want to Max C into my Sabersaurus. That is the only vanilla I actually mind keeping in deck. So, like I said, I'm not playing Max C. I am playing 2 Effect Veiler because it's really good this format, and I want to conserve what's in my deck. And then we have 1 Gores. The spell lineup is 1 Avarice, 2 Duality, because bad hands happen and Duality fixes them, 1 Reborn, 1 Heavy, 1 Hole, and 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. I really like 3 Typhoon this format. I don't know why. I think it's just because back row is the #1 cause of lost games for me. I can do whatever to my opponent's monsters, but it's always back row that kills me. So I've been running 3 Typhoon probably since Nationals, and it's been working out great for me. It's how I won credit tonight. If I didn't play 3 Typhoon, I definitely would have lost a couple games, but thankfully I didn't, and thankfully I played those 3 Typhoon. In the trap lineup, we have the Solemn Brigade with 1 Judgment, 2 Warning. You have Bottomless. You can't really play Torrential in a Rabbit deck because your deck really likes field presence, and while you do have the Machina engine to make it a little bit different, you still want your field presence, so Bottomless is a little bit better here. I don't personally like the card, but I agree with it in a Rabbit deck. Then you have Prison, which is one of my favorite cards right now. It's really, really helpful in taking out monsters that you just cannot get over. And while Mirror Force can do the same thing and give you a higher plus ratio, you still can get really, really screwed over by a Starlight Road. True, not everybody runs it, but you never know. And then because it is a Rabbit deck, one of my favorite cards to play in a Rabbit deck is Compulsory Evacuation Device. Sitting on Compulsory Evacuation Device, Logia, and maybe another trap is just overwhelming. You have full control over everything your opponent's going to do, and it's just a great feeling. Going into the extra deck, this deck mostly focuses on rank 4 exceeds, but because you play Tour Guide, you do have to play 5 rank 3s. They're pretty much staple. I mean, you have your Zen mains, Tempo, Leviair, who is staple no matter what in anything that's a Rabbit deck, Leviathan Dragon, Acid Golem, and then going into the rank 4s, you have your Maestroke, Photon, Pupil-Imperative, Shockmaster, who's really easy to bring out. If you dead draw Vanilla, you summon it. If you draw into a Rabbit, that's a Shockmaster right there. It's really easy to bring out, and of course with this deck where you have a decent array of back row, you can really, really hurt your opponent with a random Shockmaster. Well, not a random Shockmaster, but a well-timed Shockmaster. Then you have Dolka, Gear Gigant, Logia, Utopia Ray, Gemnite Pearl, and Big Daddy Big Eye. Big Eye is my favorite Exceed this format. He was almost my favorite Exceed last format. He only lost out to Zenmaity because I was playing windups at the time. Anyway, this is a pretty fun deck. I've been playtesting it a little bit. It seems to do pretty well. Like I said, you have to choose the tempo if you want a plus or if you want to stun your opponent. You basically just have to think which would be better for the situation, because going into Gear Gigant and getting that gear frame could be pretty bad if your opponent just goes Wind Up Factory, Magician Shark, and locks down your field to where you can't use that gear frame. So you definitely have to think a little bit. I wouldn't say this deck's going to ever do anything serious to the meta. I think it has potential. The only issue is it loses hardcore to system down. If they take out your mechanical chasers or your fortresses, you probably aren't going to win. You can try and ride Sabersaurus and Logia and Dolka to victory, but it's not guaranteed to work. In fact, it's highly unlikely. It is possible, but it's unlikely. So anyway, guys, this was the deck profile for Rescue Robot or Machina Rabbit, whatever you want to call it. Make sure to rate, comment, sub. If you have any questions about the deck, make sure to, like I said, leave a comment down below, and I will go ahead and catch you guys later.